There's a flock of pink-footed geese. We're just near Airth, and today we're going to cycle towards the Pinapple in Airth, and then also to an old ruined church, and then we'll head back to Larbert. These geese spend the winter here, and then they migrate back to Sweden, I think, when the weather gets a bit warmer, which is probably fairly soon since we're just at the start of March and spring is on the way. We just passed the gatehouse to the Dunmore estate, which is the entrance to the Pinapple. Here we are on the road. As well as the Pinapple itself, the estate is quite a big area of woodland which you can walk around. It has Elphinstone Tower, which is a 16th century building, and it also has the ruins of the big estate house, which is quite cool to explore. Behind me is the Pinapple of Dunmore. It was built in 1761 by the Earl of Dunmore, possibly as an extravagant gift for his wife, possibly as a status symbol. Pineapples at that time were the equivalent of having a Porsche or Ferrari. They were displayed, not eaten, because they were so valuable, and only rich people had them. So this was made as a summer house, and also pineapples were grown here. Just along here you can see the remnants of the walled garden, and there would be hothouses which would be kept for growing pineapples in. We're now going to cycle around the estate through the woodland. So if you just turn to the right of the Pinapple, you have to go through this little door here, and that's the start of our cycle. This path is usually pretty muddy, but it's been relatively dry, so we're going to chance it. A mountain bike would probably be better for these conditions, but I'll come off my bike if it's too boggy. Another thing I love about this place is this avenue of giant redwoods. They're huge trees, bigger than anything that naturally grows in Scotland. They were sent over as seeds, thinking about 1850, 1860, and from them grew these giant sequoias from the US or from North America somewhere, presumably. Here we're coming up to Elphinstone Tower, which is a 16th century ruined tower you can see through the trees. We're just leaving Dunmore Estate and the Pineapple behind us. I think it's one of Falkirk's best kept secrets. I mean, where else would you see a building shaped like a fruit? Now we're going to go on to Airth, the village, cycle through the village and then up to the grounds of Airth Castle Hotel to see Airth Parish Church. We're at Airth Old Church, well, the ruins of it. Yep, here's the hotel and here is the church. It was started in the 12th century, so part of the 12th century building is still there. I'm going to try and find that today. This tower is an addition in the 16th or 17th century, I think, and people worshipped God here until the 1820s, so for 600 years people were worshipping on this site. Here we are on the other side of that arch. And we're in the graveyard, so around here you can see lots of graves, none of which really you can make out the inscriptions on anymore, except a few words. One of the most interesting things is this here, which looks like a big metal coffin. It's called a mort safe. This would have protected bodies from the resurrectionists, who were folks who would dig up freshly laid bodies from the graves and sell them to medical schools when there was a deficit for bodies for dissection and anatomy lessons. So the most famous of these people were Birkin here, who took it one step further and murdered 16 people in Edinburgh in the 19th century. The irony of that is one of them, I think it was Burke, got found guilty of his crimes and himself was given to the medical school for dissection, where his body, his skeleton, still stays there to this day. You can see it on display in the museum there. Well, it's back on the bike again. The only downside to this cycle is that there's no cafe on the way, but handily my mum lives just along the road, so the next stop is her house for a cup of tea and some cake if she's got some. That's us at the end of today's cycle. We're back in Larbert, almost at Larbert train station, which is a good place you could start and stop this ride. You could also drive to the Pineapple, there's a good car park there. You could walk and cycle from there. It's a really nice flat ride, nice walk or cycle around the Pineapple, and that's all for today. See you next time.